This is a video on current electricity. In this video, we will be discussing Kirchhoff's laws and Wheatstone bridge. These are very important topics to understand the electric circuits and also important from examination point of view. Remember, basically voltage, current and resistance are correlated through Ohm's law, but Ohm's law helps us in finding out the current etc. in simple circuits. Kirchhoff's laws are used where Ohm's law fails to give the result. These laws are applied in complicated circuit with large number of resistances and the current sources, that is cells etc. There are two laws. First law, also known as Kirchhoff's current law or junction rule. It states that the algebraic sum of electric currents at a junction in any electrical network is always 0. The basis of this law we will discuss shortly. There are sign conventions to be followed for Kirchhoff's current law or junction rule. The incoming currents or the currents towards a junction are taken as positive. Likewise, the currents leaving the junction or outgoing currents will be taken as negative. The law is based on the principle of conservation of charge. Remember, in an electric circuit there is no source from which charge is produced and there is no sink to which the charge is rejected. Hence, the principle of conservation of charge leads us to the current rule or junction rule. In order to illustrate what this law means, let us suppose that this is part of an electric circuit and we have a junction O here. I1 is incoming current, I2 is outgoing, I3 is outgoing, I4 is incoming and I5 is outgoing. There are two incoming currents, I1 and I4. These will be taken as positive as per our sign conventions. I3, I4, I3, I2 and I5, these are outgoing and these three currents are to be taken as negative. Algebraic sum is 0, which means I1 minus I2 minus I3 plus I4 minus I5 equal to 0. The law sometimes is also stated as at a junction the incoming currents are equal to the outgoing currents, which you can easily see from this equation. If we transpose negatives to right side, you will have incoming current equal to outgoing current. Let us again emphasize that this law is based on principle of conservation of charge. Now, in 1 second, whatever is the charge coming inwards, 1 second means charge inward means incoming current, is always equal to the charge going outwards in 1 second, that is incoming current is equal to the outgoing current. The second law is voltage law or the loop rule. It states that the algebraic sum of all the potential drops and EMFs along any closed loop or path in an electric network is always 0. The law is based on principle of energy conservation. We will once again elaborate, but for this law again we have sign conventions. The EMF of a cell is taken as negative when we traverse from positive to negative terminal. Positive terminal means higher potential, negative means lower potential. So, when you move from positive to negative, there is a drop in potential. So, drop in potential we will be taking as negative, and if you move from negative terminal to the positive terminal of the cell in the loop, there will be rise in potential negative to positive, and the rise in potential is to be taken as positive. The EMF of a cell is taken positive when we traverse from negative to positive terminal of a cell in a closed loop. As there is a rise in potential, we take it as positive. Next sign convention is the potential decreases as we move along the direction of current. So, if you have a resistance R and the current through that resistance is I. If we are traversing the loop along the direction of current, there will be a drop in potential because current flows from higher potential to lower potential. So, this product IR will be taken as negative in such a case. However, if you are moving against the current, then the same product will be taken as positive, because you will be moving in a direction where the potential is increasing. Remember, different books, different students take different sign conventions. What is important is you take all the sign conventions from same source. The ones which we have stated are most widely and most commonly used sign conventions. To illustrate the voltage law, let us consider two examples. Example 1, we are given a circuit where we have two batteries. Resistances R1 and R2 are also marked in the diagram. In loop A, B, C, D, A, B, C, D, A. If you move along AB, there is no resistance. If you move in this direction, you come across the cell and you are moving from positive to negative terminal. Positive to negative terminal. There is a potential drop which we have to take as negative. So, we write minus E2 or 2 volts, whatever the case may be. And here we are moving along the direction of current through this resistance. So, again there is a drop in potential. The potential difference here will be IR2, and since it is a drop, we will take it as negative. Now, coming to this part, you again come across a resistance R2 and we are moving along the direction of current. So, there is a drop of potential, we take it as minus IR1, and here you come across another cell where we are moving from lower potential to higher potential, negative to positive. There is a rise in potential of 2 volts, we take it as 2 or plus E1 equal to 0. Now, we started from A and we are coming back to A. Work done in moving a charge is Q into potential difference. Since we are back at A, the potential difference is 0. Initial potential is equal to the final potential because we are back at the same point. Therefore, the potential difference is 0 and the work done should be 0. So, that is why the algebraic sum of the potential drops across different parts of a closed current loop is taken as 0. Another example, see this diagram. If you apply Kirchhoff's voltage law to loop A, B, C, F, A, B, C, F, A. Here the current is I1, here the current is I3. For AB, the current is I1 and we are along the direction of current. So, minus IR 20 into I1, minus 20 into I1, and coming here you are moving from negative to positive. So, plus 40 volts because there is a rise in potential. Here again along the current there is a drop. So, minus 40 I3, resistance 40 into current I3, and the algebraic sum is 0. Similarly, you can apply the rule to loop C, D, E, F, C. I am leaving this for practice to you. By junction rule at F, we get an additional condition. The incoming current I3 taken as positive, outgoings I1 and I2 taken as negative, the algebraic sum is 0. There is one more thing which is to be pointed out here. There are a number of loops, one this loop, another closed loop, and this larger loop A, B, D, E, A. You can take either loop in either direction. You can take A B D E A, or you can take A E D B A. You can traverse the loop in clockwise direction or anti-clockwise direction, the results will be the same. Another very important electric circuit is Wheatstone bridge. It is a combination of 4 resistances, which we generally mark as P, Q, R and S, connected as shown. These are arms of a Wheatstone bridge. It is used to determine either of the 4 resistances in terms of the remaining 3 resistances. The diagram is again on the screen for your reference. Let us see what results it leads us to. The currents depicted in different arms have been arrived at using junction rule. Here this is the current source. If you take I as the current from here, here it will be divided into 2 parts, I1 in this direction through arm P and remaining I minus I1 through arm R. At B, the current is again divided into 2 parts. A part goes through galvanometer IG, G is subscript, and the remaining I1 minus IG goes in this branch. Here the 2 currents again combine and you get back current I here. So, in order to get the currents in various branches, we make use of the junction rule. Now, let us see the equation which we get when we apply the loop rule to ABDA. The galvanometer resistance will be denoting by capital G. AB along the current, so I1 into P will be negative, minus I1 P minus IgG minus Ig into G. Here we are against the current, plus I minus I1 R equal to 0. This is equation number 1. And then we apply the loop rule to BCDB, BCDB, starting from B, BCDB. Along the current, negative IR product, current is I1 minus Ig into Q plus I minus I1 plus Ig into S plus IgG equal to 0. Now, what we do is we adjust the values of resistances. One of the resistance is unknown. Other 3 can be adjusted so that we don't get any current in the galvanometer. This happens when the potential at B is equal to potential at D. We know that current can pass only if there is a potential difference between 2 points. Since we don't get any current here, that is Ig is 0. So, Vb and Vd are equal. Potential at B is equal to potential at D. The bridge in this case is said to be balanced. For a balanced bridge, put Ig equal to 0 in above equations 1 and 2. You get the equations as I1P equal to I minus I1R and I1Q equal to I minus I1S. Dividing the 2, you get this result. This is the condition for balance in a Wheatstone bridge. The ratio of the arms in the resistances are equal, or the product of resistances in opposite arms is equal. This is balance condition. A very useful circuit because it's an accurate method to determine unknown resistances. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel CBSC 042. If you like the video, please press the like button and recommend the channel to other fellow friends. Feedback, if you have any regarding the contents, please write to ikg54@yahoo.co.in. For notes and other topics, you can visit our blog www.physicsbeckons.wordpress.com. You have it on the screen. Happy learning. Thanks for watching.